One of the main themes of the Easter season is that Jesus is the Good Shepherd, of whose sheep none will be lost. When Jesus says this, he is also assuring us that he is a true and worthy leader who can be trusted. The present febrile political atmosphere, both at home and internationally, reflects in part people's desperation for worthy leaders in whom they can trust and not be disappointed. How does this key text in St. John's Gospel speak to us particularly today? The teaching that Jesus is the Good Shepherd follows the sixth sign in the Gospel of John, the healing of the man born blind. At first, the account of that sign develops with a discussion of why so many people seem to be blind as to who Jesus is, despite all his signs, who are therefore not ready to believe in him. That's John chapter 9. John then goes on to present the image of Jesus as the Good Shepherd as the key benefit of being ready to believe in Jesus. It's chapter 10, the first 18 verses. In this passage, Jesus also says that he himself is the gate to the sheepfold. Verse 7. Here he is reminding his disciples that unless they are ready to believe in him, it is very difficult to enter the safety and new life of the sheepfold. Such readiness to believe is a necessary step of faith, and therefore those who are not ready to believe, who are spiritually blind to who Jesus is, are unable to enter. In this whole image of the Good Shepherd, Jesus leads a new community in which the shepherd knows his sheep and they know him. The sheep learn that they are safe with one who genuinely cares for them because he lays down his life for them. They learn to have confidence in the one who will lead them to new pastures and new life. They learn that in life's difficulties and sad times, they can trust that their good shepherd will never desert them, and that none who belong to this shepherd will ever be lost. There are perhaps three particular ways in which this image speaks to Christians today in our culture. Firstly, the Good Shepherd leads us to fulfill our true potential and to become fully ourselves. This speaks particularly to our identity-anxious generation. Rather than following misleading cries of being able to be and to do anything you want, which is really just an omnipotence fantasy, the Good Shepherd leads you to be the whole of who you truly are, because he knows you better than you know yourself. The Good Shepherd knows your particular gifts and strengths, and you can trust that he will lead you in how best to be happy using them. The Good Shepherd knows your particular struggles and weaknesses and will help you live with them and manage them. The Good Shepherd knows your agonies and will help you carry those burdens. The Good Shepherd knows and accepts your difference and will lead you to where you are loved and accepted. Secondly, the Good Shepherd leads us wisely into an uncertain future, and this is as true as much for the church as it is for individual Christians. The world is changing with bewildering speed, powered by breakneck technological development, and yet some things don't change, like love and friendship, human nature, and social injustice. Moreover, a gap seems to be growing between where we want to be while facing up to the challenges of how we can make the journey there. In this confusion, the Good Shepherd calls us to follow himself to the new pastures, for he knows where the good, new resurrection life is to be found. It is important to recognize that this aspect of the image of the Good Shepherd is a dynamic one which calls for courage. It's about moving forward rather than hunkering down where we think we may be safe. It's about following Jesus to the new pastures rather than hanging on to what is merely familiar and reassuring. But it is also about staying real and grounded and not getting lost. The Good Shepherd knows the real needs of his sheep, and he is not there to exploit them. The Good Shepherd knows what really matters for our welfare. Thirdly, the Good Shepherd promises that none of those who belong to him will ever be lost. This is why the Church has traditionally placed this image and teaching in the Easter season. Though we have loved, those whom we have loved and who have died are not lost. Whatever struggles and disasters we face in life, our home with Jesus in the sheepfold of heaven remains assured. Whatever happens, we are held eternally in the love of God. There are few times in people's lives where faith in Jesus is tested more than when we have to face our own mortality, or when you learn that someone you love has only a few weeks or months to live. Everyone has to face death one way or another, but in our modern comforts and medical science, being suddenly reminded of this is perhaps more of a shock to us today than it was for our forebears. Two things can really help here, and they are but two sides of the same coin. On one side, it is important to give thanks for all that has been, despite the pain of impending loss. It is vital to celebrate the good pastures and the good journeys that have been enjoyed together, as indeed the good gifts of the Good Shepherd. And on the other side, it is vital to be able to cry out in agony to our loving Shepherd, who bears our agonies as his own. For only with such honesty and openness to God can we also know the eternal love that will continue to hold us forever. The key to all this, Jesus teaches, is learning to believe and trust in himself as our true and worthy Good Shepherd. It really helps to have invested beforehand in the spiritual resources we need to face these challenging times, and still to be able to trust in our Good Shepherd. The sooner in life we learn to do this, the stronger we can be in facing life's ups and downs, and the more we will not remain blind to how much we are eternally and truly loved by our Good Shepherd. Thank you for listening.